How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be looking at Toys for Bob, and we're going to talk about what it means, them going independent. It looks like the split between Microsoft and Activision from them was amicable, and it looks like it was actually helped on by Microsoft, so it doesn't look like there's any bad blood there, and it does look like they're currently in talks to partner with Microsoft. So there does seem to be some kind of work thing going on here that I think it's more indicative of what's actually going on. Now, clearly, Toys for Bob is a great company. They've done amazing work with, games like Skylanders, Crash Bandicoot, and so forth, and, there's a lot of other games that they could actually be working on. I know they've done like some Spyro the Dragon work, but they're also like the #1 company that I would assume if it wasn't, if Rare's out the picture, that they would be the ones doing like a Banjo and Kazooie game. So it's a bit odd that Microsoft decided to part ways with them, but I also understand why Toys for Bob did. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit. And we have an article as well regarding that, so we're going to go through that as well. But before I get into any of that, do consider leaving a like if you're enjoying the video or simply want to support the channel or just help it grow. The more likes it gets, the more the algorithm pushes the video out. So if we can try to aim for around 300 likes, that would be absolutely amazing. If you're new to the channel or a returning viewer and haven't yet subscribed, do consider hitting that subscribe button. We are trying to get to 7,000 subs by the end of March, so help me make that happen. Finally, if you want to support what I do further, you can do that through my Patreon, YouTube membership, or of course the Super Thanks. If you leave a Super Thanks, I will respond and also make it a first thing in the video with response to your question, to your comment, regardless of what it is, and hopefully that will be something you look forward to. Right, on with the actual video. So, as you can see here, Toys for Bob is splitting. Now, if we look at this over here, we can also see that Embracer Group is selling Saber, in a 500 million deal. We don't know who they're selling it to, or if they're selling it to Saber themselves. They're buying themselves out. This is kind of really big because Knights of the Old Republic is kind of was put on ice and no one knows what happened to it. It looked like it was cancelled, but it looks like Saber will continue developing KOTOR away from Embracer. Gearbox is also expected to go independent as well by the end of the month, by the end of next month. So things are getting really interesting as more and more companies are going independent in order to stop layoffs, in order to stop being shut down and other things. So really cool stuff, and I hope it works out for these companies. But for Toys for Bob, they announced plans to become independent, which it does seem... Oh, it's like a nice little parallax there. I didn't really notice that. You see Spyro's horns? They kind of move along with it. Yeah, it's a parallax effect. Nice little touch there. But it says here, at first reported by GameFile, Toys for Bob officially announced plans to become an independent game development studio. Fans will likely recognize Toys for Bob's work on the Spyro Reignited trilogy and the Crash Bandicoot series and Call of Duty Warzone. Now, that last game here, Call of Duty Warzone, in my opinion, is why they're going independent. As long as they're within the Microsoft Activision kind of structure, they've kind of slowly gone away from the work that they love doing, which is developing games that are, generally aimed at the younger audience, like the Crash games, the Spyro games, the Skylander games. These are the games that they loved making. This was their roots. And they've kind of moved away from that and basically become the bitch boy of Call of Duty, developing, supporting assets within the maps and doing work for them. This actually now takes them away from that and allows them to work on games that they want to. Now, something I saw online today, and it's a good question asked by your baby father. No, don't ask. But he said, Phil said that he's a big supporter of getting people to work on stuff that they like and they want, and things that make them happy. And well, this kind of goes completely counterintuitive or counterproductive against what they were actually what he was saying, because clearly if these guys want to work on those games, and they can't work on it and have to work on Call of Duty, then what Phil said doesn't add up. It doesn't match up, and there's a clear problem there with communication, because what he's saying isn't being reflected here. Now, in an official blog post, Toys for Bob says the independent move will allow the studio to return to our roots of being a small and nimble studio. Basically making the games that they want to make. Making the games that they have fun making, and not being the Call of Duty errand boy making assets that just they don't really care about. Earlier this month, Toys for Bob faced layoffs, and the studio ultimately closed its headquarters office in California. They were they were supposed to get another office, but I guess that's not going to happen now because they've decided to go independent. But maybe Microsoft will still provide all the information and give them the property layout. I don't know, but that would be kind of cool from Microsoft. So it should reassure fans that these creatives are looking to the future and building something new. Layoffs continue to hit the gaming industry non-stop this year. PlayStation recently announced plans to lay off 900 employees from its global workforce. Of course, EA just announced 670 layoffs. So it's going to continue until the companies pretty much downsize to a point where they were at pre-COVID. Because during COVID, there was a mass, uprise in employment, hiring, because the demand was just great, so they needed to churn out those games in those 2-3 years as quick as possible in order to maximize profits, and their profits soared in those 2-3 years. Video game industry was the highest grossing and profitable industry out of all of them. But once the whole COVID dilemma ended, people started going out, playing less games, spending less money on games, and well, this is the inevitable burst that was coming from that boom bust situation. It's a smart move to go independent. Toys for Bob also added that we're exploring a possible partnership between our new studio, the independent one, and Microsoft. And I think this is kind of cool, because what this is basically saying is, if we stayed inside Microsoft, we would have to be that Call of Duty support studio, and we didn't want that. And I guess, Phil's talk about getting people to work on stuff that they enjoy, work on stuff that they like, just wasn't going to be a thing here. So by moving away, they can now come back to Microsoft and say, hey, we do great work, what we're all about. We want to make games like Spyro, Crash Bandicoot, and so forth. Can we do that on your platform? Maybe it's going to be exclusive to Xbox, maybe it's not. That is up to Microsoft to decide, because they own the IPs. But I still think it's cool that partnership between the two is even on the table, because that tells you that the split between them was not a nasty one, but actually a good one, and done in good faith and on good terms, which is always good when a company is going independent. You don't want a situation with Microsoft and Bungie where the split was so nasty that neither of them want to even talk to each other. However, Toys for Bob's next game is still in early days of development, so the devs couldn't reveal any further details. The announcement mentions that the team is excited to develop new stories, new characters, and new gameplay experiences. This suggests that the next project could be an original IP. I mean, it could, or they could be creating new characters for existing IP. Instead of working with existing material, the creatives surely have plenty of ideas of their own to work on. However, Toys for Bob also says that both Activision and Microsoft are very supportive. The team is confident that we will continue to work closer together as part of our future. So maybe even a portion of Toys for Bob is still going to support Call of Duty, but it looks like the core majority, the core load of them is going to go and be working on new experiences, or old titles that are needing a refresh, needing an uplift, or just needing a sequel. So that's really, really cool to see. And I wish Toys for Bob all the best. And I'm happy that they are still on good talking terms with Microsoft. I'm happy that they're still in good relations with Microsoft. Because this just means that, A, they themselves are their own boss. They can decide their own future. But at the same time, they're working with a team that they know very well, that they've worked with before, and that they know that they can, get the job done in the best possible manner. So, You know, this is pretty much a win-win situation for everyone involved. Microsoft didn't make this ugly. They made it, as from what we can see, as easy as possible. And I know the media out there is going rampant about, oh my god, they've gone independent, but no one's talking about the 900 layoffs from PlayStation, right? All of that seems to have been forgotten because Toys for Bob has decided to go independent. What the hell? 900 people get let go at Sony, 670 people get laid off at EA, but now the whole world is just focused on Toys for Bob going independent. You know, Saber's going independent. It looks like Gearbox is going independent, but people are still just, oh my god, Toys for Bob is going independent. Anyway, so it's still possible that Toys for Bob could continue working on the Call of Duty series. Like I just said, Call of Duty Warzone Mobile just set a new release date for March 21st. So, yeah. For more of the latest news, great gaming news, you can read about our Saber Interactive being sold by Embracer Group for $500 million. But, is this a bad thing? Some will argue yes, some will argue no. I personally don't think it's a bad thing. The way I see it, the fact is, if this enables them to work on the projects and the games that they love and want to work on, and under the guise of Activision and Microsoft, these would be less opportunistic, then going independent, providing they can, you know, stand on their own 2 feet, is, in my opinion, the best possible outcome that you know, Toys for Bob could want for. That said, though, it's really good that they still have the support from Microsoft, and that relationship is still ongoing. So it means that when they need the aid from Microsoft, it will come. And when that aid comes, it also means that the game is going to either have exclusive content for Xbox or be exclusive to Xbox for a limited time at least. Well, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I think this is not as bad as people are saying it is. Obviously, you know, Phil could have given them what they wanted and probably should have in terms of flexibility and working on projects they want to work on. But I guess this is the next best thing, and who knows, maybe this will actually turn out to be great for both parties involved. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that discussion. If you did find this video informative, useful, or simply enjoyed it, hit that like button, try to hit that 300 like challenge. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new or a returning member and have yet to do so. We are trying to hit 7,000 subs, and if you want to support me further, you can do that through my Patreon, YouTube membership, and of course, Super Thanks. You can click on the Super Thanks right underneath the video and thank for the video, ask a question, make a comment, and it will be highlighted and sent to me immediately for me to respond to, and it will also be highlighted in the next following video. Right, that's it. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Remain legend.